Yes, friends, now we will discuss in this talk how to study smarter, not harder. We have to study fast in learning process and study in a smart way than choosing a hard way. Do you ever feel like your study habits simply are not cutting it? It must be. Do you wonder what you could be doing to perform better in the competitive examinations? Many competitors realize that their study habits are not very effective to match their knowledge to the level of the competitive examinations. This is understandable as the study is quite different from the other ways for the competitive examinations. The guides, the professors are less personally involved. They may give you a tip and tell, but not straight away they are involved in your learning process. Exams are worth more, reading is more intense, and classes are much more rigorous. These competitors do not mean that there is anything wrong with you. We should never think like that. It is just means you need to learn some more effective study skills. I repeat, you need to learn some more effective study skills. Fortunately, there are many active, effective study strategies that are shown in the effective in in preparing yourself for facing and cracking the competitive examinations. First of all, let us realize reading is not studying. Simply reading and rereading texts or notes is not actively engaging in the material. It is simply rereading your notes. Only doing the readings for the sake of reading is not studying. It is simply doing the reading just for the sake of reading. Rereading leads to quick forgetting. But there we have to understand even in rereading or reading, we must convert it to studying and that art of paving the way for retaining it in our brain and converting it into proper communication at the time of writing examinations. Think of reading as an important part of pre studying, but learning information requires actively engaging in the material. Active engagement is the process of constructing meaning from the text that involve making connections to lectures and the papers, notes, and material available. Forming examples and regulating your own learning. Active studying does not mean highlighting or underlining text or rereading or note memorization. Though these activities may help to keep you engaged in the task, they are not considered active studying techniques or weakly related to improved learning. So that means there not the mistake is not in your way, but it is not a technically and scientifically equipped methodology for studying the subject. There we can improve. We can improve by learning the methods and skills of reading and studying. Ideas for active studying include create a study guide by topic, formulate questions and problems, and write complete answers. Create your own quiz. Become a teacher. Say the information aloud in your own words as if you are the instructor and teaching the concepts to a class. Derive examples and relate to your own experiences. Create concept maps. Here, the word concept maps is very much important in preparing a map for every concept which you have to learn from the point of view of the competitive examinations. Create diagrams that explain the material. Develop symbols that represent concepts. For non technical things, history, psychology, Figure out the big ideas so you can explain, contrast, and re-evaluate them. For technical things, work problems, explain the steps that why they work. Study in terms of question, evidence, and conclusion. I repeat, study in terms of question, evidence, and conclusion. What is the questions posed by the instructor or author? What is the evidence that they present? What is the conclusion? This is how, if we continue the study in a very smarter way, definitely our idea of cracking the competitive examinations will become easier rather than reading harder, reading, and all those things. So, here what we have to learn is studying is different with reading. Studying means you will be engaging your mind through the material. You will be interacting through your mind to the concept and the subject which you are reading. Understand the study cycle. The study cycle developed by Frank, Christ, and several other eminent personalities breaks down the different parts of studying: previewing, attending classes, reviewing, studying, and checking your understanding. Although each step may seem obvious at a glance, all too often they try to make shortcuts and miss opportunities for good learning. We should not do that. For example, you may skip a reading before class because the professor covers the same material in class. Doing so misses a key opportunity to learn in different modes. And the benefit from the repetition, distributed practice that you will get from both reading ahead and attending class, understanding the importance. The moment you have a pre reading, it will lay a foundation in your mind, and if you hear the teaching, a lecture, or attending the class, then it will pave the way in a very nice fashion for your memorization, retaining, and effective communication. Understanding the importance of all stages of this cycle will help make sure you would not miss opportunities to learn effectively. Spacing out is good. One of the most impactful learning strategies is distributed practice. Spacing out your studying over several short periods of time over several days and weeks. In order to spread out studying over short periods of time across several days and weeks, you need control over your schedule. Keeping a list of tasks to complete on a daily basis will help you to include regular active studying sessions for each session. Try to do something for each session each day. Be specific and realistic regarding how long you plan to spend on each task or each subject. You should not have more tasks on your list than you can reasonably complete during the day. For example, you may do a few problems per day in a particular discipline, humanities or sciences, rather than all of them the hour before class. In history, you can spend 15 to 20 minutes a day actively studying, and other subjects like that. Scheduling your planning or mapping your reading pattern itself is a major key which will help the competitors to pave good way for achieving the success. In addition to the learning material more deeply, spacing out your work helps stave off procrastination. Rather than having to face a dreaded project for your hours on Monday, you can face the dreaded project for 30 minutes each day. The shorter, more consistent time to work on a dreaded project is likely to be more acceptable. It is good to be intense. Not all studying is equal. You will accomplish more if you study intensively. Intensive study sessions are short and will allow you to get work done with minimal wasted effort. Shorter intensive study times are more effective than long drawn out study. In fact, one of the most impactful study strategies is distributing studying over multiple sessions. Silence is not golden. Know where you study best. The silence of a library may not be the best place for you. It is important to consider that noise environment works best for you sometimes. You might find that you concentrate better with some background music. Some people find that listening to classical music while studying helps them concentrate, while others find this highly distracting. This point is that silence at the library may be just as distracting or as the noise of a gymnasium. Thus, if silence is distracting, but you prefer to study in the library, try the first or second floors where there is more background buzz. Here, important point is you have to analyze the mode in which your brain is receiving information. Your brain is going into tranquility of concentrating and devoting your study. A classical music may be a good stimulator for some person. Total pin drop silence may be a good stimulator for some others. Here it is the individual choice. After analysis, a competitive examination writer himself has to decide. Keep in mind, the active studying is rarely silent as it often requires saying the material aloud. Problems are your friend. Working problems is important for technical courses and others. Be able to explain the steps of the problems and why they work. In several courses, it is usually more important to work problems than read the text. Annotate each step and ask questions if you are confused. At the very least, record the questions and the answers you will get. When preparing for tests, such a big thing like competitive examinations, put together a large list of problems from the course materials and lectures. Work the problems and explain the steps by one, and convince yourself that you are good in that you have assimilated properly and completely to your brain what you have, the problems that you have attended. Reconsider multitasking. A significant amount of research indicates that multitasking does not improve efficiency and actually negatively affects results. In order to study smarter, not harder, you will need to eliminate distractions during your study sessions. Social media, web browsing, game playing, texting will severely affect the intensity of your study sessions. There are certain subjects for assimilating, it requires very intensive study and focusing to understand the crux or the content of the that particular chapter or that particular theme which requires very intensive study. There you have to totally devote with all devotion in reading that. Eliminating the distractions will allow you to fully engage during your study sessions. If you don't need your computer or homework, then don't use it. Then switch up your setting. Find several places to study in and around campus and change up space if you find that it is longer a working space for you. Know when and where you study best. I repeat, know when and where you study best. It may be your focus 10 p.m. is not as sharp as at 10 a.m. Perhaps you are more productive at a coffee shop with a background noise or a music, in the study lounge, in your residence hall. Perhaps when you study on your bed, you fail or you fall asleep. Have a variety of places in and around campus that are good study environments for you according to your taste and according to the necessities of your brain. The way wherever you are, you can find your perfect study spot. After a while, you might find that your spot is too comfortable and no longer is a good place to study. So it is time to hop to a new spot. That means at every time, a particular place may give you good peace of mind and concentration for studying it may not be the case, the same place at any time. So you have to hop up for new places and see where you can devote totally in a concentrated manner. Become a teacher. This is a very important thing for anybody who is preparing for the competitive examination. Try to explain the material in your own hands as if you are the teacher. You can do this in a study group with a study partner or on your own. Saying the material aloud will point out where you are confused and need more information and will help you retain the information as you are explaining the material. You will be using examples and make connections between concepts and other practices. It is okay to do this with your notes in your hands. Nothing wrong at all. At first, you may need to rely on your notes to explain the material, but eventually you will be able to teach it without your notes. Remember, this method of teaching will be an excellent tool for manana, that is recording straight away in your mind, and a retainable capacity will be improved in your brain, and it can be recapitulated whenever you like it for effective communication. Creating a quiz yourself, of course, that also will help you. Then finally, I'll give you a few points. Take control of your calendar. Controlling your schedule and your distractions will help you to accomplish your goals. The same day each week, plan out your schedule for the week. Go through each class and write down what would you like to get completed for each class that time. Determine whether your list can be completed in the amount of time that you are at the command or available to you. Make adjustments as needed. If you find that it will take more hours to complete than work you have available, you will likely need to trial your readings and reorganize your time and method of the readings. Completing all of the reading is a luxury that we should never strive for. It must be comfortable. You will need to make decisions about your readings based on what is covered in your session. You should read and take notes of all important things which you have to remember, which you have to be memorized. Pencil into your calendar when you plan to get assignments completed. Before going to bed each night, make your plan for the next day. Waking up with a plan will make you more productive. I repeat this sentence. Waking up with a plan will make you more productive. Use downtime to your advantage. Beware of easy weeks. This is the calm before the storm. Lighter work weeks are a great time to get ahead on work or to start long projects. Use these extra hours to get ahead on assignments or to get ahead in reading and preparing your mind for receiving higher and tougher classes. Use all your resources, what is all available from the academic coach, to work on implementing any of the strategies suggested this handout. With these techniques, definitely a competitor, an effective competitor, and with all striving with single motive and objective of cracking an all India competitive examination, definitely studying smarter, not harder. That smart reading is a conglomeration, is a product of several techniques and several approaches. These techniques and approaches must be carved out according to your style of thinking, according to your style of absorbing, according to your way of, or according to your approach towards the subject. This will definitely will help you and make you successful in getting through the effectively and very nice manner the examinations. Thank you very much.